I will pray for you, but if you get on my nerve, I will cuss you smooth out. My mouth ain't under control yet.
And that's the kind of mood I'm in, because this case, this Nolan Wells case, y'all, is getting out of control. It's getting out of control right now. It's sloppy, it's messy, it's money grabs. It's a mockery. It's a mockery. It's a lot of foolishness going on. And I do believe at this point, I don't believe it was accidental. There is nothing about the way the others are behaving that indicates to me that this was accidental. When I tell you these people have managed to flip the freaking script, that they are now the victims in this, they are now the ones being targeted. And you know what's so crazy to me, Mississippi? You're arresting people for making death threats to the white folks, but they're also making death threats to Nolan's parents. So if you're going to do it, I think it should be done on all sides. And it's funny that I say that, because that's the exact thing that Christine Warnsley was asking for when her son died. She said, can you treat his death like you would treat it had it been anybody else's child, right? That's what she was asking for. And because of Mississippi's refusal to come in this thing and do it just like they would anybody else, this is where we are today as a result. And now you're arresting people for making these death threats, but you're not arresting people on both sides. How come you're not arresting white folks for making threats to Black people? Now all of a sudden folks are going to jail because we have a judge involved. And now I kind of see what you guys are doing. You're taking the focus. Well, the focus has never really been on Nolan. I mean, I told y'all that from day one. I said, they don't care. Nolan was just another Black boy. And I'm going to talk about this in a different segment. Somebody sent me a picture. Well, somebody commented on something that I posted on my Instagram. And now the Nolan Wells case has highlighted mysterious deaths of Black boys that have died the same way. Someone sent me an inbox and they said, actually, let me read it. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I said. Here's what they said. They said, this is their new way of targeting. I don't want to say the word targeting Black folk. I said Black men, because Black women know better. Black men, because Black women know better. But the point I'm trying to make is there's been similar deaths in the same manner that Nolan has died. So now we have this accumulation of these young Black boys that thought they were amongst friends, and they come up dead on boats or in the bodies of water, right? Not Black girls, but Black boys, and they even have a video of one of the victims where he did a video, right before he died. And could that be the reason that Nolan's phone was scrubbed? Like his mom says, there is no posting. Well, this Black guy, one of the victims in a different case, actually got a video snippet of whom he was with. And when I saw it, I got chills, because I said, ooh, you should have known better. You should have known better. And that's exactly what Christine Warnsley is talking about when she said his phone was clean as a whistle. Hold on, wait a minute. You can't tell me about my son. You can't tell me shit about a child that I've carried for 9 months and I've raised for 18. You can't tell me that the phone didn't work on the water. It worked for you when you needed to call CTO. It worked for you. So you're trying to get me to believe that my son didn't snap any photos. He wasn't excited. He didn't get any videos that all these teenagers, well, just my son, not all of these teenagers, just my son was so happy to be there that he just wanted to focus on a moment. The lies you tell. These people have managed to flip this thing upside down, inside out. And that's because of us, social media. In a good way, right? We're pressing, and we're not going to stop pressing. At first, we couldn't get any information. Not one thing. Nobody knew nothing. Everybody's memory collapsed. Everybody had amnesia. Don't ask, don't tell. We don't know anything. Nolan made the decision to stay back. Last time we saw him, he was talking to Katie. We don't know nothing. Now, all of a sudden, Bart, damn it, Bart, since you're suing people for saying your name, Bart, now you have brought forth, allegedly, 20 witnesses to corroborate your story on your behalf. Wait a minute. Where were these people before when Nolan stayed behind on the island, when Nolan made the choice to stay? Now, all of a sudden, Bart, Nolan was heavily drinking. Oh, so we do have details. Or is it selective memory? And everything that you say just so happens to be in favor of yourself. Wow. They have managed to flip the script. They are now the victims. They are now the victims, and they have raised a GoFundMe. And I believe they've raised probably about $120,000. Now, let me give you the flag on the play, honey. Let me tell you what's happening. They are raising this money to block the family of Nolan Wells from filing a wrongful death lawsuit. Do you understand me? I don't update you guys every hour, every minute on this case because it's important for me to get the facts and tell you about the things that have been working in the background. Well, why would they do that? Well, let me bring you up to speed. Let me say it again. These kids, these boys, these rich white boys that you see on this screen, first of all, are asking the public to donate money to them so that they can block the wrongful death lawsuit. They don't want the mother and the father to file or to be able to get anything from Nolan's death. Now, this is what I'm going to use a little bit of common sense. The autopsy results have not been released to the parents or to the public, only to the good people of Mississippi that have had the pleasure of being seated in those seats for a number of years, and they're called the grand jury. So when the grand jury of the Grand Dragon, oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Holla if you hear me. Holla if you hear me. Did you get what I said? So when the Grand Dragon gets an opportunity to comb through, quote unquote, the autopsy results, then and only then can the mother and will the mother be able to see the results. It reminds me of the slavery days. And that's the low-hanging fruit that I didn't want to reach for because it's a fact, Mississippi. It's a fact. But what it reminds me of is when young babies were snatched from their mothers and the slave masters could do anything and everything that they wanted to do with these children. Fast forward to 2026, even in the case of Nolan Wells, concerning his body, his autopsy, structures of his throat, his stomach, and his lungs. Holla if you hear me. Same shit, just a different day. Can you hear me now? So when the Grand Dragons get a chance to look at whatever it is they're going to look at, then the mother gets the baby back. Wait a minute. Because Nolan Wells has officially become the property of the state of Mississippi. Wait a minute, Mississippi, because I wasn't going to go there. I'm a little bit more developed. I have a bit more of a diverse palette, right? But that's how you're behaving. And you wonder why people are saying Mississippi is racist because that's how you're behaving. You're treating his body as if it's property. And then it takes us back to the slave days where Black folks belong to you as property. And when we come to 2026 and you don't give a family the dignity, because had it been a white boy, you best believe his parents would have had the autopsy results. You best believe the throat would have been sent along with the body, with the throat intact. But somehow or another, because the parents are pushing you to do your job, you've managed to flip the script, threaten to sue, arrest folks, and now you're the victims. Your sons are home. They went fishing the other day, took out another boat. Nolan is still somewhere. They said when you leave this earth, your body transcends. He's in a holding pattern because until his mother can rest, his spirit will not rest, although he's been laid to rest. So Mississippi have managed to come together, Black people. Watch this. And you know what? Hats off to you, Mississippi, because they've just shown you how to flip this script and how to stick together. Ocean Springs will protect Ocean Springs. Like those of you tuned in should always be working together. Now that they've flipped the script, the strategy that the parents have taken by hiring Ben Crump and Al Sharpton is now offensive, is now wrong, is now against the law. And somehow, even in death, the Black people have become the bad guys yet again. Somehow, we're going to make this a criminal issue, not the death of your Black son that we can't give you nothing on. And we're not going to even give you the freaking dignity to send all of his organs and his parts that should be sent along with the body. We're going to disrespect you from start to finish. And if you don't go away quietly and shut your mouth and wrap this thing up as an accidental drowning, then I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you if you talk about my son. I'm going to sue you if you make suspicious comments. I'm going to sue you if you say my name, say my name, say my name. I'm going to sue you. So the fact that these people have managed to flip the script and raise money to collect hundreds and thousands of dollars, they're damn near, watch this, damn near have surpassed the amount that was raised for Nolan Wells. That's crazy, but it is what it is, right? To me using my common sense, if you are utilizing or soliciting public funds to block a wrongful death lawsuit, that tells me that there may have been some type of foul play or tampering with evidence. Can we go on? Because what the hell would you have to hide? Because if Nolan was still back on the island with Katie when you left, where's the wrong in that? Where's the wrong in that? You would have nothing to do with that. That would be Katie. That would be on Katie and Katie's family if what you say is true. Because your good old boys was long down the road in Fort Bayou docking, watching movies, Netflixing, and chilling. Thank you. Only me one kind for the $20 super chat. You said not to mention Horn Island is federal property. Period. So we have the government involved, even though you don't see them, people. This is a federal case because it's federal property, but it's being handled by the state. Do you see how Nolan Wells never had a chance to begin with in the first place? This is federal property. They know what goes on that island. Yeah. You don't think those people are working together to protect Mississippi's finest? We got judges. We got medical examiners. These are elected officials. These are people that are handpicked to take a seat at the throne. You don't think that these people aren't going to work together? So that tells me if you are blocking a wrongful death lawsuit, it's because you had hands on deck when Nolan took his last breath. That's what I believe. Damn it, Bart. That's what I believe. Let's play the call and then break down how we got here. Give me 1 second. We're going to play the call and then we're going to break down how we got here with these people in Mississippi flipping the script as if their families came up missing and washed up on the beach as if they were taking a nap, as if their boy with a polished background was left behind. I'm almost disgusted, but it is what it is. Don't trust nobody. You better start talking to your sons because I know better. You better start talking to your sons because the girls over here, we're a little bit more savvier. Thank you, Aisha. She said, preach queen. Thanks for speaking facts. Absolutely. Super 3701. Thank you. Said, if it was determined that he was intoxicated, I hope maritime law comes into effect for a civil lawsuit because whoever took him to that island would be responsible for him. That is an excellent point. But here's the thing. I believe they're holding on to all of this to come up with a plan. There's a meeting before the meeting, and there's always a meeting after the meeting. What do you mean, Queen Shiba? If you're in the meeting, Nolan Wells' family, if you met with the DA, but you weren't in a meeting before you met with the DA, and you weren't in a meeting after you met the DA, you're not in the inner circle. There's a meeting before the meeting and a meeting after the meeting. Are y'all picking up what I'm putting down? All right. This is what we're going to do. We're going to listen to the call. But before we listen to the call, I just want to give you just a little bit of background, okay, of what's happening. Because one of the dads, and I hate that they keep calling these boys Nolan's best friends. They were not best friends. Let's be very clear. I don't care if you're in the chat, if you're white or black, if you're a woman, a man, a girl, or a boy. There's no way that you would be okay with any of these kids being your child's best friend if this is the way they handled him. We can start with underage drinking, the parents. We can start with leaving him behind on the island. We can start with not giving him his phone. I mean, you name it, I'll claim it. Listen to what I said again, Ryan. Ryan said they were his best friends his whole life. No, you can call yourself a best friend. E2 Brute. Judas was a disciple, but he still betrayed Jesus for what? 30 pieces of silver, which was equivalent to maybe $595 in 2026. So you can call yourself a best friend, but again, I say E2 Brute. Thank you. Samantha Elvey, she says, in my opinion, they will present Nolan Wells as a suspect to the grand jury. Call it an accidental drowning. No one will be arrested and we will never get the truth. Hence, No one is arrested, and they can do podcasts, etc. Hey, y'all, you have a good point. But here's the problem. They didn't expect the social media involvement to the caliber and the level that people have become, involved. And I didn't say social media uh, engagement. I said involvement. We have digital audio engineers that were able to take this call and dissect it and give you what was happening in real time on that boat when they initiated a call, an alibi to CETO. So now you have more than Mississippi, you have the entire world. And that's why I encourage people to get outside of your zip code so that you can see that the world is way bigger than you, way bigger than you. And that's the thing. You can placate Nolan's family and say whatever you want to say to those good old Mississippi people. But those of us out here in the real world, Mississippi, have way more sense than that. The world is way bigger than Mississippi. You got the Tyler Perrys, the Terrell Owens, you got celebrities, people, you got intellects, you have other people from law enforcement that are willing to dig their heels in. Hell, you have the Cajun Navy offer their cadaver dogs initially to go and sniff that boat before there was a fallout with Crump, right? That's the problem. Now they're having to, I believe, go back and clean up their mess. I don't think Nolan received proper due process from the beginning. The sheriff had it wrapped up. There's a meeting before the meeting. There's a meeting after the meeting. What do you mean? When the sheriff got on the news or did his press conference to say it was an accident or gave his official statement to say that it was an accidental drowning, there must have been a meeting before that comment, and there must have been a meeting after that. There was a consensus. We're going to put this thing away. We're going to put this thing behind us. It was accidental. And we said, no, to hell, no, to hell, you not. Hell no, to the no. Hell to the no. Not today. We got time today. It's July 4th weekend. I'm off. I have extended PTO. I'm going to go digging and searching. And now that we know that there were calls made to the Coast Guard and other things occurred, and now, since we're pressing you for more and more details and you have no choice but to respond, now one of the best friend's fathers slams Ben Crump for quote unquote financially exploiting Nolan's death. No, you need money to make moves, sir. He can't get up there and do it for free, just like you raise money to stop Christine for avenging her son's death by way of a wrongful lawsuit. So what are you talking about? It ain't no fun when the rabbit got the gun. So you mean to tell me it's a money grab when Ben Crump does it to make sure that Christine could send her son off to Washington, D.C. to receive an independent autopsy by one of the best renowned medical examiners in the world? But it's not a money grab when you do it to protect your white boys? Get the hell out of here. It's an equal playing field. This ain't Mississippi, as you can see, because you've raised hundreds and thousands of dollars, just like they did for Nolan. So just like you're going to get down for your son, Christina's going to get down for hers. And it just so happened that she hired Ben Crump as an intercessor, as a civil attorney, just like you got your team. So you mean to tell me that you feel like you can get your roster up and your squad up and your people behind you and have your team ready to go, but these good old black folks can't get nobody? And if so, you're going to try to exploit the goodness and say that it's a money grab? Well, if it's a money grab, then God damn it, let it be a money grab. Because it had not been for the money grab, this would have been processed as an accidental drowning. We got a little action on this. We got some movement on this. We're getting clout off of this. And when I say that, Nolan is getting all the clout he deserves. And we're going to continue covering this case. You must be some kind of wonderful and some kind of privilege to think that it's wrong for a family to go out and advocate for themselves when their 18-year-old son was last seen with your son. And he died, and your son came home and slept in his bed. You get to hear his voice every day. You still get to go fishing. He's going to go to college. He's going to get married. You're going to see him walk down the aisle. You get to hold your grandkids. If you don't shut up and act like you got some sense and like your cerebral cortex is fully developed, come on, really? Is that what we're doing? So now, because we are making waves and we have made progress and we're putting you on your ass, Mississippi, now you decide you want to file a lawsuit, then file it. File it so that Al Sharpton and Ben Crump can subpoena phone records, text messages, and use that money grab to buy some of the best digital forensic analysts in the world and comb through your fucking emails, your deleted texts, your screenshots. Because if you don't know, let me tell you, there's no such thing as deleting. There is a cloud that Big Brother oversees. And just in case your name or your number comes up, they go back and they extract it all and they pull it out and they put it on the table. So please file. I'll be at the trial because I want to know what those audio calls are. I want to know what the text messages are. I want to know what the hell your son said to you the night that, quote unquote, Nolan stayed behind with Katie. Oh, I want to know what turns you on. Please file the lawsuit because I don't think you know how this works outside of Mississippi. I think you done fucked around and found out that the world is not your oyster. And if you play stupid games, then you get stupid prizes. File the lawsuit. Because just like they went and got Dr. Roger, what is it, Mitchell Rogers or Dr. Roger Mitchell, the best of the best. Even the other forensic analyst was scared to say anything because he's the best of the best. You can't touch his work. He did such a thorough job. He was the one that called the attention to the lack of productivity of the initial medical examiner. He said she didn't even do a full autopsy because she missed the head. And because of the head, that's why I was able to tell you there was a lot of bruising in the back of his head that I can't explain because she conveniently kept the throat. And typically when a medical examiner is assessing the throat, it could be or attributed to strangulation, a C cup, or both hands. Manual. It's asphyxiation. That's what I get for talking crap. That's what I get for talking crap. Yeah. The hyoid bone was missing. That's typical, a sign of being strangled. All the best of the best. So you file your lawsuit so we can come on down there and sit in that courtroom and take good notes and review these damn audios, text messages, phone calls. Oh, this would be the trial of a century. Because you can fool some of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all the people all the time. Yeah. So now they're threatening to file lawsuits and defamation suits. And they have an intention to sue, and they're collecting public funds. Now, if you understand it, there's two ways that they've notated that they want this fund to work. The primary way that I wanted to focus on is to be able to support a wrongful death lawsuit. That means they're going to hire a defense attorney, a civil defense attorney, to refute, to go up against any claims that Nolan's mom and father may bring to try to hold them accountable for the death of Nolan. So what am I basically saying in layman's terms? They want you to pay for an attorney so that Christine Warnsley doesn't get not a dime for Nolan's legacy. Well, let me give you some stuff, and I'm going to play Crump's response, and then I'm going to give you some technical things that you don't know that's going to tell you how we got here. You know that Nolan went missing during a 4th of July boat trip to Horn Island. Okay, 10 miles off of the Gulf Coast of Mississippi. Nobody knew nothing. Thank you, social media, for getting behind this, because we pressed and pressed and pressed. Now, all of a sudden, everybody remembers what Nolan was doing. Everybody remembers they were panicking. Everybody remembers the boat was sinking. Everybody remembers that Nolan was drinking heavily. Now somebody else remembered. Now Bart has 20 witnesses. But nobody really talked about it. They can remember everything except when he took his breath. They can't tell you how he washed on the beach, but they can tell you he was drinking like a sailor. Now Warren Hudson's, the dad of Warren Hudson, is speaking out. And he said, in my opinion, the truth is not Ben Crump's concern. He's exploiting the situation and raising money. Ben, and this is Ben Hudson. So we got two Bens at play, Ben Hudson and Ben Crump. Listen to this. Ben Hudson is an addiction physician. He's a medical physician. 6 kids. I think this is financially exploiting this entire tragedy and making it a much bigger tragedy, at the expense of my family. He put his family first, at the expense of my family, the community, and last but not least, the Wells family. See, now, the heart doesn't lie. And when men talk, I urge you to listen. One thing about a man, he ain't really tell you too much BS unless he needs to, right? But when a man speaks, listen. And that man put in order what was important to him, his family, then the community of Mississippi, and last but not least, the Wells family. Not Nolan's death, not justice for Nolan, none of that. He wants to protect his son. Oh, is that true? You work with him? Hold on. Oh, wow. That's you say you've worked with him. In what capacity? That's interesting. Yeah. So he's basically gave you the lineup. My family, then the community, then Nolan. Nolan could have gone second. He's dead. He's out of here. Is that not a childhood best friend since the boys were younger? And that's why I say I could never. For those of you that are tuned in, they were best friends. Best friends don't behave like that. Parents of best friends don't behave like that. Why would you try to cancel or neutralize anything that Ben Crump is doing on the behalf of the family? Why would you? Now you're out. So if Ben Crump, if you feel like Ben Crump is financially exploiting this entire situation, would that not make you guilty of the same? Because now you have a GoFundMe. Why are you cloning his strategy that clearly goes against what you believe in? You said, no, that's horrible that he's doing that. But yet here you are. He revealed that his family intends to sue Crump for defamation and slander over comments he has made since Nolan's death. Good luck with that. He said, in my opinion, the slander falsely accused my son and his friends of murder, and he's pursued what's an obvious false narrative. Okay, even if they're not guilty of murder, have they tampered with evidence? Did they know that Nolan was not alive when they left that island? Did they conceal his death? When the young lady from Cito, the dispatcher, asked, is everybody alive? Is everybody okay? And they said, yes, everybody okay. Was that the truth? Or did they fail to render aid by giving her all of the information she needed? Because even if Nolan was on the boat and he was gone, had she known he was on the boat, the captain would have still dispatched people out. They have to prioritize these calls because it's the 4th of July. They canceled the call because it was just like a membership call. And Grandpa said, don't worry about it. But if we would have said a dead body's on here because he was heavily drinking and we told him no, and it's all his fault, they still would have prioritized the call. So even if your kids aren't guilty of murder, my question is, what are they guilty of? Why did you conceal the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So help you, God, from the initial onset of the investigation. How come the Coast Guard worked so hard to swipe your call off record like Cito almost did? If you listen to the call at the end of the Cito call, the dispatcher said, okay, Captain, I'll update this to the new details. The new details is we didn't need anything. They wanted to make it go away. That's why Grandpa called, because Grandpa is a good old boy. Grandpa knows damn well when you go on record, you go on record. Grandpa didn't want to go on record with his damn boat being at sea for a quote unquote alibi. That's why Grandpa canceled the call. When y'all are saying, why did the Grandpa cancel the call? Because Grandpa doesn't want anything on record. See, these young ones are young and dumb. Grandpa knows a thing or two. The hell you mean you call? Cancel the call. Cancel the call. Why are you acting like one of those upstate New York boys? We're Mississippi boys. We're Mississippi burning boys. Cancel the freaking call. The hell wrong with you? Must I do everything for you? Yeah, it's simple, y'all. If you understand the culture, the language of the land, you don't go on record. Grandpa is old school. I don't know how old Grandpa is. I'm going to give him over 80. Back in the day, you called somebody? You mean to tell me you got somebody coming out there and that kid just whatever on that boat? Cancel the freaking call. That's why Grandpa canceled the call. You don't go on record. Right, wrong, or indifferent. Move back, kids. Let us take care of it. 2 days later, Judge Ashley Cole comes out with a formal statement. The sheriff came out after her statement, said it was an accidental drowning. Warren's mom came out with her statement. The adults got in front of the entire thing. And then Warren poked his head out. Warren poked his head out and had the audacity to go sit down with Officer Tay-Tay. And Officer Tay-Tay, I know you over here. See, up until this point, Warren, I think Warren is a little defiant, a little rogue. Warren probably gives his dad a run for his money. Can't sit still. The adults got in front of it. You didn't need to say anything, but you let Officer Tay-Tay convince you to come over there like a damn fool. Grandpa handled that part on the sea. Ashley Cole used her public position and her public seat to issue a public statement because it gives her or gives leadway to credibility. She's a judge. The sheriff used his enforcement, his power to say accidental drowning. So we got 3 players, 3 adults that's kind of covering all bases. And then Warren came and sat with Tay-Tay. And now people are saying, oh, hell no. And Warren, you were real scared to say Bart's name. Do you owe, I mean, like, what is it with Bart? And that tells me there's a hierarchy amongst this group. And Bart may be at the top of the food chain. Or is it a competitive thing between you and Bart? I don't know. Because you're also the only one that didn't take the polygraph like test. Everybody else took it, but you did, according to Officer Tay Tay. So Grandpa canceled the call because up until that, you wouldn't be on record. Damn near got out of jail free. Y'all, let me ask you something. Did they or have they released the time of the call? Did they or have they released the time that the call came in? The CETO. Samantha said they were scared to say Bart and Wyatt's name because when Trayson said Wyatt in that interview, he said, oops, my bad. There's a hierarchy. Listen, I study people for a living. There's a hierarchy, and you could tell, my buddy, my buddy, my buddy. That's not normal for Warren to talk like that, but he did his best to conceal their identities. Why? Why you gotta do the clean? Why you gotta be the cleanup woman? Thank you. Mega said Bart is at the top. And Warren, even though your dad is a medical doctor, y'all are doing the cleanup, the janitor. Y'all are the EVS team, the environmental services team. The dad got to go and put up 50K. Warren's out there trying to clean up the mess. And it could be, this is what I'm going to tell my damn truth. I'm going to speak my damn mind. I feel like you were a little bit too friendly with the black folks. And they've told you before they didn't fucking want Nolan around. I mean, that's just me going off grip. If I had to sit at my kitchen table and figure out what the hell is going on, you were a little bit too friendly with the coloreds. We didn't want them over here anyway. Jax didn't invite them. You brought them. You clean it up. That's it. That's all. Y'all don't get mad. That's perfectly normal. Have you ever gone out with somebody and it was just supposed to be you and two other friends and then they bring that person? You'd be like, fuck. And not that that person's a bad person. You'd be like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this, especially if they're drunk, allegedly. That's your friend. That's your friend. I don't care if he's on my boat. That's your friend, dude. Now I'm giving you my opinion. I played that game of let's just look at the facts. Now I'm giving you my opinion because that's your friend. You better get out there and make it go away because we wouldn't what? We wouldn't be in this position had it not been for you. So as a result, your dad is having to put up a 50K that he didn't want to put up. And you know, I know he didn't want to put it up. Nobody wakes up and say, today, or you know what, next month, I'm going to have to give away. It's called an unplanned event. And I'm telling you, if he was going to give away 50K, it would not have been to a colored. Now, that'll piss a man off, especially a man that works hard for his money, because my son talks too much, or my son decides that he wants to be friends with this person and that person. Now I got to put up $50,000 to make this crap go away. Hopefully they'll be quiet when I contribute to the fund with Tyler Perry and this and oh, they're still talking. I tell you what, I'll sue your ass. I'll sue the pants off of you. Quote, I think he can expect lawsuits, not just from my family, but from a number of other families who, in my opinion, he's defamed, unquote. So now he's kind of like name dropping, but not name dropping, right? But they're still pushing you and your dad out there to be the face, the poster child of the death, the mysterious death of Nolan Wells. We're going to tell you we're going to sue, but you go first. We're going to tell you we're thinking about talking to a podcast, but you go first. We're going to tell you we're going to put some money down, but you go first. Now I'm getting into my opinion and my common sense. Now I've played with y'all long enough and I kind of read the documents and stay fair, but you're not ready for me if you're new over here. So Crump responded, as he should, man to man. I like it when men go toe to toe. Sit down, girls. Let the men handle this. Let's go. Let's see what Ben Crump had to say in response to threats of lawsuits coming down the pipeline from Warren Hudson's family and his homeboys. Here we go. Why are they showing me a raccoon? Why are they showing me a damn raccoon? That's what I get for talking crap. Ah, hold on. Oh, I got to watch it. Give me 1 second. Now we got to watch the damn raccoon. That's what I get. Hold on. Let me put this back there. But we're going to see what Ben Crump had to say regarding the threats of lawsuits. All right. Hold on, y'all. They're going to make sure we watch these ads. That's the only thing I don't like. If we can't get it, I'm going to just move on. Oh, it's coming. It's just coming. So let's see. Let me see if I can get you some information on the GoFundMe that is being raised for the boys who Nolan was last seen with before his mysterious death. Hold on, I got so many different documents. All right. It's actually a give, send, go. And so far they have raised $120,000 in less than 48 hours. Now, that's on record. Okay. I'm going to tell you there's a meeting before the meeting and there's a meeting after the meeting. If you don't think that people are making or not making private donations behind the scenes, everybody doesn't want to go on record. Everybody knows when you give to public campaigning platforms like Go, Send Go, Give, Send Go, or GoFundMe, they don't want their name. They don't want anything being subpoenaed. But I guarantee you some wire transfers may have occurred. They told you Mississippi is going to back Mississippi. I'll wait on this freaking interview to come up. Let me reroute it. Give me 1 second. So I believe there's money in play, and I don't understand why these people are working so hard to conceal the truth. That's it. What happened? Because you're making it seem like there's foul play, even if it wasn't. I don't know what happened. Only y'all know what happened. His mother deserves to know what the hell happened. How did you become a victim? How did your family become more important than Nolan in this situation? How did you manage to take his death? It's been a month. Today is August 4th. He died 4 weeks ago. And now you're the victims? Here we go. All right. Stay with this. Here we go. Here we go. If they make me watch an ad, I'm going to be mad. I'm just not going to play it. All right. So that's what's happening. The boys are pissed off because they could not attend their own friend's funeral.
Okay. Another question?
All right. This Crump's response after Ben Hudson reveals that I'm going to sue the pants off you. See if it'll play. It's still buffering. Here we go.
Okay, let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a. Another question? Can't hear you. Another question? Can't hear you.
So the question is, what is your response to Ben Hudson, Warren Hudson's father, accusing you of using the death of Nolan Wells for financial gain and financial profit?
Okay, let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a response. It has no dignity associated with someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story.
So basically, that was their response. And they're
We fight for justice and someone suggests,
they're reprimanding. And let me know if my audio is okay. They're reprimanding the New York Post. New York Post, very shady, very you can be very biased, very biased when it comes to a particular group of people. I've watched your coverage on different things I've covered in person. Also, the audio is bad. My audio, does it have a lot of static? What about now? Okay, give me one audio and choppy audio. Give me 1 second. All right, let's do a mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Mic check. 1, 2, 3. Let me know if it's static or if it's good. I think I accidentally had it set for headphones. We're good. Sounds like we're good to go. All right, we're good. Better. Okay, I accidentally had it set for headphones. Sorry about that. Okay, let's continue. So this is what's happening. After the CETO extensive call, the audio where it was dissected and the audio engineer on her own dime off the side of her desk went in and said, you know what, let me take a look at this audio. I'm going to play it. Now, according to that side, the organizers of the campaign for the boys, they say that the Give, Send, Go has 2 goals. The first goal is to raise money to defend the boys against a wrongful death lawsuit filed by Ben Crump and his team. You get it? Filed. Watch how they're playing with you. Ben Crump is an attorney who's representing the legacy of Nolan Wells. Y'all, the campaign is to block the parents. Now they're playing with you by saying being crump. Your attorney is your attorney. He's not the one that's filing the suit. Oh, it's you said the audio is not okay. So the audio still isn't okay? Give me 1 second. I need to know if the audio is okay. Like, I need to know quick. And if not, I can troubleshoot it in real time. It's okay now. It's fine. Okay, let's go. The plaintiff would be the family of Nolan Wells when we talk about a wrongful death suit. It's not Ben Crump. You see how they'll play with you? Ben, we're going to sue you to block. We're going to raise money to block the wrongful death suit that has been filed by Ben Crump. No, say her name. Christine Warnsley. She's the plaintiff, not Ben Crump. No different than you going to get an attorney to represent you. And these are the nasty games that they're playing. And this is why I'm showing you in real time how these people have managed to flip the script. But they are using people, the name of Ben Crump, like the agenda to make sure that there is actually no justice for Nolan, even when it comes to civil lawsuits. And we're about to fix this because we're not going to play with this audio. We're doing too good. We're not going to play with this audio. We're going to fix this real quick. It's not only a deflection, it's horrible. It's nasty. I told you, they want this lady to get one penny. They don't want her to get anything, even if they did have something to do with it. Even if there was a tampering of evidence, you're not going to get anything for it. And not only that, we're going to ask the public, the same public that loves Nolan, we're going to do a play on words. We're going to throw Crump's name out there because people aren't smart. They don't read. They're not going to take the time to say, wait a minute. That's actually Nolan's parents that are filing. All right, they said, hold on, y'all. They're saying my mic is horrible. Give me 1 second. Here I go. I'm about to come back into the live. Give me 2 seconds, actually. All right, mic check 1 2 3. Mic check 1 2 3. Is that better? Oh, y'all are saying I'm good. Am I good? Is this better? Yeah, I'm just not going to use that mic. Let me know if I'm good. Toot said Officer Tay Tay is doing some juju. Oh, we're good. We're good. We're good to go. So these people are playing a really nasty game, and I think it's unfortunate for the best friends of Nolan Wells. You know, they're saying that Nolan was a best friend. He's like a son to us. Okay, but you're going to make sure that you don't have to pay nothing, even if he was on the boat. Even if he was on the boat. So I wanted to bring that to you, that this is a dirty game that is being played in the background. And you guys have no idea. No idea. That means if they're saying to block or thwart any efforts of Crump. It ain't about Crump. It's about Christine Wormsley. Let me read it to you again. The first goal is to raise money to defend Block against the incoming wrongful death lawsuit filed by Ben Crump. That means it's already been filed. That means Christine, Nolan's parents, have already filed the suit. And they want it to go away, just like they wanted Nolan's cause of death to go away. Now, they're saying that it's not an attempt to silence honest questions or disagreements. No, I beg to differ. I beg to differ. How come you weren't forthcoming from start to finish? How come you didn't give that mom a call as soon as her son, quote unquote, decided to stay back and made the decision to stay back? That's all I'm saying. Now let's take a listen to this CETO call. Here we go. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me bring up the right call.
We're thinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the word coming up, sir? How far is the word coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles? Hello?
Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just thinking. I don't know. Like we're going down there.
All right. Well, let's get you going. Membership number or phone number listed on the account, sir.
I don't know the phone number. It's either Jerry Atkerson. I think it's Jerry Atkerson. Try that.
All right.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on
Unless you have a membership number or anything, it's okay. I'll get you over to the captain. What's the best phone number to reach you at? All right. And is everybody on board in good health otherwise?
Yeah, everybody's
How many? All right. Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
Oh, stopped working. We're thinking. Can you all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir?
Hold on. Give me this. Let's go to another one.
What?
Do you need the United States Coast Guard?
No, we do not need that.
All right. All right. Do you have your current GPS coordinates?
Let me go look.
If not, I can send you a text message.
North. All right, are you ready?
Yes, sir. I'm available.
North 3 degrees. But 4672.
Hold on. Let's do this. Let me get a different version. Hold on. Let me get a different version. I don't like that one. Actually, let's go over this real quick.
Ours is unconditional. Then another one talking about they're going to sue us. Well, let me tell you something about lawsuits. If you sue us, which would be something that I would welcome, because then we get our attorney and you as plaintiffs would have to come in and be deposed. And I'd like to depose all of those involved so they would have to tell us what they did, what they didn't do, under oath. Under oath. So bring it, you can drop it off right here, the paper's right here in hand, so we can get the deposing since none of these young boys are saying nothing, you file a lawsuit, they gonna have to say something. And they gonna have to not only talk, I want to see their cell phone logs. I want to see all their social media. Let's open it up. Let's let it go.
And here's the thing, though. I don't think a lot of people understand how the law works. See, you can't just go subpoena these records because it's not a criminal case. You see how it's still ongoing? The ongoing approach is to buy time. And hopefully this thing goes away. The autopsy results are conveniently being withheld from the public, right? So it's not, you don't have anything to take to court because it's quote unquote ongoing. That will be, even though they've managed to flip the script, even though the give, go, send, the monies that they've managed to raise, right? Hundreds and thousands of dollars to block this woman from getting any justice for her son. That's what it comes down to. And I wanted to put it in all of y'all's faces to make it make sense. Because this is not, when it comes to Nolan Wells, this is probably one of the few cases. It's so unique because most people understand that the math ain't mathing and it just ain't making sense to white folks, to black folks, to men, to women. Most people want justice for Nolan, whether it's drowning, whatever it is, right? You all know that the story that they're giving just isn't adding up. So this is probably one of the few times that America has almost been on the same page. And that's why they've taken an alternate route to ask for public funding to make you think that it's against Ben Crump when actually your money is being used to work against Nolan Wells. Now, if they are savvy enough to conceal that from you, you damn sure better believe they could be savvy enough to conceal details of what truly and what really happened to Nolan on July 4th. Nolan's death have ignited a very intense public debate, right? But at the end of the day, I don't think anybody thinks or feels like good another one bites the dust. Not from what I've seen. But I don't like how you're moving, Warren, Hudson, friends, and family, to give Nolan your ass to kiss after you refuse to give any details and then file or collect money to work against his parents. Come on. Y'all, not only that, the lady, is it Janetta? The one that dissected the audio. Now y'all are making this about race. They got her GoFundMe taken down, but theirs is still up. They reported hers for fraud, but theirs is still up. Now it's becoming nasty, if you get my drift. Now, let's hear what Ben Crump had to say. Well, really nothing. Just Nolan Wells' Warren's family is basically sent an intent to sue. To sue for what? That's Crump's job to advocate. So now he can't do his job? So now we're going to sue people for doing their job when we couldn't get the state of Mississippi to do theirs. But everybody else gets sued. Crump is brought on by families to advocate and to get to the bottom, whether you like it or not. Let me see if I can get this audio. Here's what some other people had to say about the case. Give me 1 second. Here we go. All right. Looks like we're good. Jonathan,
this Nolan Wells case is taking a lot of different twists and turns. I wanted to get your thoughts on it. What do you think about it thus far?
Well, the phone has been erased and the parents have had to ping it. There's been no clear investigation. I think it reeks of a cover-up. And so we want to get to the bottom of it. So I thank Attorney Crump for being involved. I thank Kaepernick family. I thank people that want to get to the justice. And now the truth is coming out slowly, but the truth is coming out. There is a pattern of deception and denial and cover-up.
You think there's a cover-up? So who are you pointing the finger at?
Well, I first start with the legal authorities. They should do a thorough investigation. That the phone was separated from the child. Body was returned to an alternate location. That the messages have been erased. That the family had to independently retrieve the phone. These are all things that the sheriff should have done. And so I would like to see the law enforcement do its job and give the parents, the family, justice and closure.
You know, I spoke with Jasmine Crockett about this a few days ago, and she feels like race is definitely playing a role in this investigation, or just in this case, I should say. What do you think?
Well, if you talk about 5 or 7 young white guys and one African-American child, they're out swimming. He ends up dead, and seems to have been a bit of a scuffle or some altercation. I'm not quite sure. And then everyone leaves their one friend behind who just happens to be black. Well, this is also, as we speak today, the anniversary, the date of Emmett Till's birth. And so I come from Chicago, and that was a Mississippi case. So history is repeating itself again.
History is repeating itself. So you're comparing the Nolan Wells case to the Emmett Till case.
Well, I'm just saying that there's a similarity, that there's there's a chord, there's a melody that comes from injustice, that the people that killed Emmett Till, they knew who did it, and they never were prosecuted. The young people that were around Mr. Wells, they know something, and they've never been thoroughly interrogated.
Well, it is an ongoing investigation. I mean, we still have some way to go. How do you think this is all going to shake out?
Well, I want the truth to come forward.
Let me say this. You're not going to get what you're looking for. I hate to say it. I hope so. But it's Mississippi. You will put these people in a position of Mississippi versus Mississippi. I don't think it's going to happen, right? These are people that have homes there, lineage there, connections, networks, belong to HOA, play golf at the golf course, belong to this club, that club. And to go up against Mississippi versus Mississippi, that will be one hell of a show. But it would take some big balls to do that. And I don't think it's going to happen. You got doctors, boat owners, right? Judges, law enforcement. Law enforcement dropped the ball from go. And Christine Worsley, thank God she has a little bit of sense to call in somebody else to help her out, because she was no match for the state of Mississippi. You saw how they came out the gate. Best friend or not, good kid or not, period. So here's what you don't know, or maybe you do. Watch this. Christine must have anticipated something was fishy about Nolan's death. She said since day one, that doesn't sound like my son. That doesn't sound like my son. Well, let me tell you something. Document teams, Jackson County reported that Jackson County, Mississippi had officially opened the estate of Nolan Wells and appointed his mother, Christine Wansley, as the administrative of the estate. This began, y'all, last month on July 20th, when Christine filed a petition asking the court to open up Nolan's estate and to appoint her as the administrative, issue letters of administration, and authorize her to pursue claims belonging to the estate. So they knew this ahead of time. Why? Because the judge works in the courthouse. They got a heads up a while back. Hey, she's going to be suing. She just applied to be appointed as the administrative of Nolan's estate. She's asking to be appointed so that anything that he's owed in his death, she will be in charge of. And according to the petition, Nolan Wells died on or about July 4th in Jackson County, Mississippi, without leaving a known will. The petition further states that he had never married, had no children, and that his mother is his sole heir at law. It also alleges that the estate consists solely of claims for damages arising from the circumstances surrounding his death. Y'all, they are hiding something. When you have a representative that says, y'all better start talking, they're hiding something. And the mom was trying to get in front of it before evidence started to leave or get lost, or throats come up missing, hyoid bones come up missing, stomach isn't intact, lungs aren't transported with the body. So the mom said, oh, hell no. The autopsy was released. The independent autopsy was released July 19th, I believe. Or the autopsy report was prepared July 19th. The mom filed this petition July 20th. There's a meeting before the meeting and a meeting after the meeting. The petition states that he's never married and all of that, right? The court granted the petition 3 days after she asked for it. Somebody is doing the right thing in Mississippi. So, in its order, the Chancery Court found that Christine Wells Wansley is the proper person to administer the estate under Mississippi law and formally appointed as the administratrix, directing that the letters of administration to be issued after she takes the required oath. The court also determined that based on the information presented, no bond would be required at this time, and the usual requirements for an inventory and appraisal were reserved. They know something happened to that boy. Mississippi, you know. So you waived. You waived. Hold on. Where was I at? Right here. You waived the usual requirements for an inventory and appraisal because you know it was a wrongful death. Somebody knows something. Somebody's talking, somebody's whispering, somebody's at the table. The order further provides that any proceeds ultimately received by the estate after payment of fees and expenses are to be deposited into a federally insured financial institution and remain there until further order of the court. Somebody knows something. Something happened to Nolan. And all these good, rich, white people know it, and everybody's getting their money up to make this go away quietly. The courts are working with her. There's been a trust established that will be held under the umbrella of a federal account, a federally issued financial institution. Oh, they're about to get paid. But why would you, Ben Hudson, try to block them from getting paid? See, the court can't deny her that. It would be too obvious. You've already denied her the body of her son, the autopsy results, the toxicology results. You're already withholding things for everybody else to be able to do a proper job. Dr. Mitchell wasn't able to fully assess the body because you kept different parts of the body. So thank God to anybody outside of Crum and Crum too, right? But I really believe that there are people in the background that are working to help this lady to say, you need to get down there and get yourself appointed as the administratrix of his estate and his legacy. It don't matter if he wasn't married. Doesn't matter if he didn't have a damn dime to his name. It doesn't matter if you were paying for college. Listen, the shit is going down. I heard a friend tell a friend that what they're telling you that happened on that boat ain't what happened on that boat. You go get your affairs in order And I'm telling you, the truth is about to come out. That's what I believe is what happened. When you lose a loved one, especially a child, the last thing you're thinking about is, let me go be appointed as the administrator of their estate. Somebody had to pull her aside and say, Christine, we love you. Nolan was a great kid. Sweetheart, that's not the full story. Go open up an account. Go appoint a trustee and put it under the federal government and a federal institute where Mississippi can't shuck and jive you. So the probate ruling is procedurally important because it gives the estate a legally authorized representative who can investigate potential claims, retain counsel, gather assets, and pursue litigation on behalf of the estate if appropriate. The order does not determine liability yet. So this is not who's at fault for Nolan. They're just gearing up to go. So the order does not determine liability for Nolan Wells' death or award any damages. Instead, it establishes the legal authority for the estate to move forward with any claims that may arise from the circumstances surrounding his death. Here is the full document. Thank you, document teams. Now, I've been holding on to this for weeks because I didn't know where we were going with this. I've been holding on to this for weeks. I said, wait a minute. And that's why I don't update every day on the hour, because you got to make this stuff make sense. Wait a minute. A wrongful. Hold on. The mom's at the courthouse. Whoa. Okay, these are details we don't know. Now we're getting into the thick of it. Now we're getting documents from people that work at, oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Yep. This is the document that was filed. And it says, the petitioner, Christine Wells Wansley, hereby files this petition to open estate, appoint administrators, grant letters of administration, and for other relief regarding Nolan Wells deceased. For cause, the petitioner shows the court the following. Number one, a petitioner, Christine Wells Wansley, is an adult resident of Jackson County. The petitioner is the natural mother of the decedent, Nolan Wells, according to Mississippi Code 91-7-663. She is the proper person to serve as the administratrix of the decedent's estate. So they are gearing up because somebody's going to pay for his death one way or the other. Somebody's going to pay for this young man's death. You can run, but you can't hide, because not everybody in Mississippi is a bad person. Not everybody in Mississippi agrees with concealing the death of an innocent child, right, wrong, or indifferent, even if it was accidental. The fact that you're tampering with evidence, and what I mean by that is you're withholding information. That's tampering with evidence. How come we didn't have 20 witnesses prior to August 4th, 2026? How come we didn't have 20 witnesses as soon as everybody realized that Nolan was missing the first time you called the Coast Guard? How come we didn't have 20 witnesses a month before today? So these insurance companies are about to pay out. Why would Ben Hudson start a public platform to block a wrongful death suit? Because nobody wants it on their insurance. No different than a freaking fender bender, right? If I fender bender you, and if I can pay you out of pocket, and if it's less than my deductible, I'd rather pay you off the side of the table so that it doesn't what? Hit my insurance account, because insurance companies look down on heavy and high claims. And now nobody wants to cover you. And you're a medical doctor. It just looks bad. So I want to keep my affairs in order just in case my children need this. I never imagined I would have to give it to this black kid. So let me raise some money publicly so that I don't take the hit financially. And although it wouldn't be him directly taking a hit, it's the fact that you're doing business with the insurance companies and that multi-million-dollar suit would land on your account and nobody else's in the group. That's why Warren Hudson's dad, in my opinion, is raising money. Because they're going to come after you first. They're going to come after you first. Warren said he was a best friend. Okay, best friend, let's go. You're up. You're on deck. You're up. Since you're doing podcasts, since you're doing interviews, let's go, best friend. Yes, it is. You said the death. We don't know the cause of death. The autopsy report has not been released. So how do you know the cause of death when it hasn't been released to the public? It has to go to the grand jury. Do you know something I don't? Love moves. We dealing. I'm just saying. There has not been an official cause of death from the independent autopsy or the initial. Did they just release the autopsy results? Because she's saying that they're saying the cause of death is drowning. When it didn't, shit, let me end the live. Oh my God. Oh my God, they just dropped that. Love moves. No, girl, you know damn well that you don't know the cause of death. Now stop that. You know that I know it ain't been released. I'm being sarcastic. Now, love, you need to stop that over here. That's all I'm saying. Now, you know damn well. Girl, you need to stop it. There has not been an official cause of death. But I'm telling you, I believe this man doesn't want to get hit with that financial liability. And he knows it's on the way. How would he know? I just told you this paperwork was filed weeks ago and they got a heads up. And now, after she filed this motion in court, all of a sudden, everything's going to be withheld from the family. Ever since she made a petition to open an estate and appoint herself as the administratrix for the estate of Nolan Wells, Mississippi flipped the house and did a reverse Uno and said, I tell you what, now you're not going to get the autopsy results. Now we're going to withhold them for you. Now we're going to go to the grand jury. That's what you see, folks. That's why they're doing that. These people are not playing fair. These people are playing a very dirty game because they can, and not because there's money in place. There's power in place too. They are connected and connected and interconnected and connected and connected and connected. These people work with each other on a daily basis. I wish, and I'm going to say this, I really wish that Ben Crump and the Cajun Navy didn't go sideways with each other. Because the Cajun Navy doesn't work for the state of Mississippi. They're actually based in Louisiana. I felt like initially they were pretty forthcoming, the Cajun Navy. You not going to get nothing else from nobody else out of Mississippi. That window is closed. From the courthouse, you have appointed Judge Ashley Cole in the courthouse. And guess what Ashley specializes in? Family affairs, probates. Let me look it up. I looked her up a while back. So she's going to know everything that's happening with Nolan's estate. If I'm correct. I looked her up weeks ago and I was like, oh, interesting. Interesting. Let me see. That's my dog drinking water. Ashley Cole, if I'm correct, I could be wrong. Hold on, let me go back. She was appointed, I do believe, in 2022, in the general election. She's a Mississippi chancery judge. She specializes in adoptions, custody disputes, domestic matters involving equity, wills, sanctity hearings, stuff like this, guardianships, probate court. You see how it's tied and tied and tied and tied and tied. So listen, Nolan Wells' family is at a disadvantage, but that's okay, because every move they make, every step they take, Mississippi will be watching them. They got law enforcement involved. They got Ashley Cole that sits on the side that Nolan's family has filed this motion in court. That's her specialty. Now, it would be a conflict of interest for this motion to have gone through her court. I don't believe it went through a court because I'm looking at the signature. Well, actually, we don't have the signature. Oh, yeah, Josh. No, we don't know who signed it. I would have to look because I didn't get the second page. But yeah, that's what Christine specializes in. It doesn't matter if it's 40% Black if they don't have positions of power. Let me look that up. Is that true? The demographics? Hold on. 30 white non-Hispanic residents, roughly 55 to 57%. Black or African Americans are at 37%. It doesn't matter if you don't put them in positions of power or positions of influence, or if they don't have any money and resources to be able to make changes. Have you ever seen a dog in a house on social media when a crook would break in and the dog didn't bite? What's the use of having a dog if you're not going to bite? And people jokingly say in the comments, send that dog to the pound. The dog got to go because he didn't protect the house. Exactly. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
The dog doing?
That's all I'm saying. So they have managed to flip this thing upside down, inside out. But I'm telling you why. So I'm making it make sense. You heard it here first. You're getting a lot of stuff coming at you as it relates to the case of Nolan Wells, but I am giving you some of the facts and the details in the background that are working that you may not be aware of. Well, why would they start a GoFundMe campaign, or why would they take up funds to block a wrongful death lawsuit? Because Nolan's mom is on their ass. Nolan's mom went to that courthouse on July 20th, and she filed a petition to protect Nolan's legacy. She filed a petition asking the court to open a Nolan Wells estate and appoint her as the administratrix. That means we need all hands on deck. I'm not playing with these people. And since they seem to have selective memory about my freaking son, a little money may help you remember if I hit you in your pocket. Money talks, BS walks. And this is their way of fighting back. This is their way of blocking Christine. It has nothing to do with Crump. Crump's going to go off and fight and be Superman and a super Black hero for other families. But Christine Wansley has to deal with the aftermath of the death of Nolan Wells. Let's take a look at something else. Here we go.
Isn't just about due process. It's not just about the truth. It is an ugly manifestation of rage bait and enragement on social media. And the family has been treated terribly. The friends of this kid and their families have been treated terribly. And now someone is fighting back against these people who get paid per click.
Why is it our fault? Nolan's death is not the responsibility of those of us online. It's not our fault. But I tell you who could have wrapped this up on July 4th? Warren Hudson and friends, Bart, Jax, Wyatt, They could have wrapped this up.
To create outrage and alleged enhanced audio of the CETO call that purports to have a background conversation that is suggested sounds like people explaining the murder of Nolan. What is the legitimacy of the audio? The word Bart is in there, and I know real people with real platforms are pointing the finger at your client.
Yeah, so we don't see any legitimacy in a doctored transcript or a doctored audio that comes with a transcript, which is a nice psychological sort of game that people play with garbled audio. I'll tell you this. My client's role was to help drain water off of a boat that reported it being in distress. There were 20 plus people separated between those two boats. All of them saw what he did. All of them saw what did and didn't happen. There were 2 credible witnesses at least that saw Nolan Wells on Horn Island an hour and a half after those 2 boats left.
Where they at? And what makes them credible? What makes them credible? The fact that they're white? What makes them credible? And where are they?
And my client cooperated with the authorities from the very beginning, never required a warrant, allowed for the inspection of his boat, his GPS, his phone, gave list of witnesses, and answered every question that was asked. So yeah, people are just fabricating things wildly.
We don't know what questions law enforcement asked him. Just like we were misled to believe that those boys went in and took a real polygraph, only to find out that was a lie. It wasn't a polygraph. And it was administered by the same law enforcement people that wanted to sweep this under the rug.
And the consequence of that is that you've got people who are in legitimate fear for their lives. Our viewpoint is not, we can't stop the entire internet. But I think we believe that we can do enough to convince people that there are some potentially real consequences if you lie and it puts people in danger.
Isn't just about due process. It's not just about the truth. It is an ugly manifestation of rage bait and enragement on social media. And the family has been treated terribly. The friends of this kid and their families have been treated terribly.
But you made this our fault. And this news segment is really about protecting the white boys, to be honest with you. And I think it's gross. I think it should be a neutral approach if it's an innocent thing that happened to Nolan. It's simply a drowning, God forbid. You know what I mean? And we had no idea. But come on, y'all. This is not what it's giving. I don't care. I don't care. It's not giving any of that. It's just, it doesn't make sense to anybody. It doesn't make sense to Nancy Grace. It doesn't make sense to other legal experts. It doesn't make sense to medical examiners all around the country who say best practice is when you perform an autopsy on a body, when you are done, you will include all organs and put them in a bag. It goes with the body. Nobody can really explain why the medical examiner would keep the structure of the throat with little to no detail in the handoff to the next doctor. And that's why I say they have managed to flip the freaking script. Nobody can really explain that the phenomenon of taking the right of the mother to know away, taking the right away from the mother to know what happened to her son, denying her access to his autopsy report, but you're going to put it in front of a group of strangers first? That doesn't make sense if it were a simple drowning. Now, had she gone with the simple drowning, I guarantee you she would have gotten that autopsy report. Nobody can explain why the initial medical examiner did not perform a thorough autopsy assessment. Nobody can explain why the sheriff came out before the autopsy was performed and announced that it was an accidental drowning. He just went off the breath of the words of the guys. You know why? Because they're credible witnesses. These white kids are credible. Not the mother who said, Nolan would never leave his phone. Nolan would, let me tell you something, honey, about Nolan. Ain't no way Nolan's getting on that boat, having a good time like you say. And even if he was drinking and he's not going to record it, she's not credible. You mean to tell me you've put these boys in a position to be more credible than their family, than Nolan's mom, Nolan's dad? And now all of a sudden, nobody knew nothing. But a month later, we got somebody that actually saw Nolan. Hours after Warren them left. How convenient. How come they just couldn't wrap this up on July 6th when the body washed? I saw him. Oh my God, Nolan. I would have given him a ride. None of that. And y'all are breadcrumbing us. And y'all are manufacturing pieces of this puzzle. And if it doesn't make sense, it's usually because it's not true. Jade Alexander says they could be creating reasonable doubt for the court. Could be, but Nolan is speaking, if you ask me, from his grave. Nolan is saying, y'all don't give up on me. Don't believe that. I went that fucking out of my mind. Come on, y'all, stand up for me. Stand in the gap. That's what I believe. The spirit is talking. Don't let this go by the wayside. They could have helped me. Somebody could have done CPR. If that call, that audio call is true, they could have helped me. They could have told the lady on CTEL. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. What are your thoughts? Let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I need to pull something really quick. And then tomorrow I want to go over the Marine report. I want to go over the report of the maritime data. I think that's going to be really important. I know some of you have heard it from other people, but I want to break it down the way I break things down. Hold on. I'm looking for the audio. I'm looking for one that I want to use without too much interpretation. Give me 1 second. Hold on. Here we go. I think I got it. All right. Delilah said, yes, Queen, it's the spirit. Listen, this thing is just not adding up.
And now someone is fighting back.
All right, here we go. This is what I want to focus on.
What did we just hear? What was that? One more time, please.
CTEL Assistance, Vicky speaking. How can I help you?
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
All right, of course. How far is the water coming up, sir? Can you give me a description? Ankles?
What'd
Hello?
you say? Hey.
Yes. How far is the water coming up, sir?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down.
Straight out to investigative reporter Crime Stories, Dave Mack. Did you just hear what I heard? Now, this has been
What do you think? Let me ask y'all something, because I don't know if anybody has ever asked you from that platform. Do you believe the audio call is authentic, or do you believe it's fake? What are your thoughts? Authentic or fake?
I want you to meet.
Now let's go over Nancy speaking with Janetta Brantley, the young lady who's responsible for dissecting this call. Here we go.
I want you to meet someone very important, critical to this investigation. Her name, Janetta Brantley. Miss Brantley is the audio engineer who enhanced the 911 call, the CTO call, in the Nolan Wells case. So everybody claiming some ding dong on YouTube did it or somebody on Insta or TikTok did it. No, she did it. I've spoken to her. I've read her statement. I want you to judge her credibility. Credibility is normally the sole province of a jury, and tonight you serve in that function. Miss Brantley, isn't it
And I think it's crazy that
true that the audio
I
you got?
appreciate it, right? And just open up for her like you would anybody else without the judgment of her credibility. Because when you bring other experts on, I don't really think they have to qualify their credentials in that manner, right? And I don't think you meant any harm, but I think it's subconscious for white people to do that because they did it in the Carmelo Anthony trial with the two people that quote unquote allegedly saw Nolan hours after the boys left. They're credible witnesses, right? Warren Hudson and his friends were deemed credible, but now we're asking the public to judge her credibility. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. And it's a subconscious bias, even in goodwill. Even in goodwill. That's all I'm saying, but I'm going to call it out. Where people, particular people, have to qualify themselves.
Was taken directly by XLO from MDMR, correct? The Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. Isn't that true?
Yes.
Okay, please continue, Ms. Brantley. I want you to meet.
So when I downloaded it from YouTube, I pulled it into my DAW, which is Logic Pro X. That's my DAW of choice. And when I first listened to it, I realized that it was like a dual mono recording, which most, like most phone services or operators utilize when they're recording conversations. And so it was already split between the caller, the dispatch, and the callers in the background. And so that's what made it easy for me to isolate it without having to do much to it. So that isolation, when I separated the left channel from the right channel, that just made me be able to really focus on everything that was on the call end.
So did you hear that? Somebody has already split the call. Somebody has already tampered with it, right, wrong, or indifferent. Somebody has already gone in there. So we don't know what pieces of that call were actually missing from the CETO audio. She said, oh, somebody's already kind of cut the cake. All I got to do is pick a slice. Sounds convenient, but people don't ever do anything for convenience. So we don't really know what was removed. Like Nolan's.
And what I was hearing was I honestly could not believe what I was hearing.
Let's listen to it one more time.
Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our village pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership.
So when I downloaded it from YouTube, I pulled it into my DAW, which is Logic Pro X.
What'd you say? It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. We're going down now. I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that. Everybody was on the phone. I know we have a membership, guaranteed.
Did you hear that? Somebody said, I thought you were calling the coast. Did y'all catch that? Now that's a part that's not in the initial CETO call. Why would this lady put all this fake stuff in and make a fake insert of a male in the background said, I thought you were calling the Coast Guard? Wow. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Monique. Not Monique. Who was that? Bree Prince. Thank you, Bree. Okay, rewind. Hold on.
I don't have the tag on here.
That's my dog choice.
Here, you got ripped off. What? No, we do not need that. Let me go look. Worth it. Gonna jump in and pull the plug while you're going. Hello.
Okay, listen to this. Byron says she did not fake anything. You know how some of you are talking about there's videos going on about the boat taking off at a high speed. Did you hear the girl say, stop at the wall? In this call? Let's continue.
Okay, what's going on? What's up? Hey, we're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come? We have a membership. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! What'd you say?
They said, no, it's freaking dead. Really dead?
It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. Like we're going down. I don't know the phone number. It's either. I think it's. Try that. Everybody was on the phone.
Did you see that? I thought you were calling the coast. Somebody, who is on this call? Is that Warren? That's on the phone right now? Yeah, that's Warren. Because I heard somebody yelling Wyatt's name in the background. Or is that Wyatt on the phone? Somebody said, I thought you were calling the coast, meaning the Coast Guard. If Nolan died on that boat and you were supposed to call the Coast Guard and you didn't, that is a wrongful death. That is failure to render aid. That becomes, or it could become, somewhat malicious. Because you could hear the person in the background say, I thought you were calling the coast. Let's continue. Well, I knew who Bart was before the call. Let me tell you how. Because Warren said his name. Warren said, I called my buddy Bart to bring his boat. In his interview with Officer Tay-Tay. But outside of that, I didn't really think too much of it. That I just thought Bart was this great guy that was down to bring a boat. That's it. Here we go.
I know we have a membership, like guaranteed. I don't have the tag on here. It got ripped off.
Yeah, that's Warren on the phone. Somebody just said Warren. That means that, okay.
What? No, we do not need that.
Check his chest. Check his chest.
Let me go look. Hey, jump in and pull the plug while you're going. Hello. Okay, what's going on? What's up? We're at the west tip of Horn, and our Doge pump stopped working. We're sinking. Can y'all please come in?
So this is the sound. This is the sound.
What'd you say? It's coming up. We're just sinking. I don't know. We're going down now. I don't know.
Hold on. This is the sound engineer recording like a tutorial what she's doing in real time. And she's illustrating the process that she was able to use to enhance the audio.
No, we do not need that. Let me go look.
Of the actual sound and either deleting or removing a certain noise, something that's problematic to the ear, deleting that or boosting that. That's literally all EQing is.
What was your process, Janetta? Because I was sitting researching. It was early in the morning, like 5:45 a.m. several days ago, and I was researching the Nolan Wells case, and I saw the transcript as it was being played. And my husband was also up. He said, "What's wrong?" I'm like, "If this is real, this changes everything. It changes everything."
Mm-hmm.
Because up until that point, it seemed as if Nolan's death could very well have been an accident. If this is real, it changes everything. It's seismic. What was your reaction when you heard these words, Janetta Brantley?
I think at my core, I was in disbelief of the actual sound. I wasn't cleaning it or enhancing it to specifically look for or identify a crime or even point the fingers at anybody. I believe I wanted it to be an accident. I think a lot of us wanted it to be an accident. So when I heard those things, when I heard, damn it, Bart, that name stood out to me because I hadn't even heard that name before. As I was listening to certain things that stood out to me, I was in disbelief because, again, I'm just an audio engineer. I'm not an investigator or detective or anything like that. So when I heard a name that I wasn't familiar with, it stood out to me. And that alone made me want to hear what was immediately said after damn it, Bart. And so that's why in that process, where damn it, Bart came in loud and clear to me, I decided to go over to the next part to hear what the rest of that statement was, which is where you saw me actually create a loop over that part, split that part, and then add a gain, which the gain is boosting the volume overall. And that's pretty much what you saw me do in that actual video. And so to hear, damn it, Bart, Nolan's really dead now, that I couldn't believe it.
Wow. That would insinuate, what the hell did you do, Bart? Damn it, Bart.
I could not believe it. I wasn't cleaning it or enhancing it to specifically look for.
Shout out to the public court, the public opinion court. This is where I was able to get this from. Okay. Now let's go to, damn, I was going to show y'all one more thing. Let's take a look at this.
So check this out. Old Bart Edmondson Jr. has obtained Russell Latino out there in Mississippi, where he lived. And he is filing a defamation on her, Kimberly, because he said that the
Kimberly is a content creator. Primarily, she operates on Instagram and TikTok. Bart is going to sue her now.
The accusation that she has made against him online has caused him to get a death threat. And he wants an apology. That is the funniest thing I have heard all day. The funniest thing. Now, Bart, you just opened up a whole can of worms.
Really?
You got death threats because they was calling your name on that recording. That had nothing to do with her. Don't redirect and try to deflect. The truth is going to come out. So check this out.
Kimberly, if he sues you, don't run from it. If you can't afford an attorney, I'll help you write your motions. I'll help you. I will assist you with your paperwork. And you can subpoena all of his phone records. You can subpoena any and everything you need from CETO. You can subpoena, because there's no such thing as deleting. The cell phone companies will have to hand it over to you. So they are lawyering up. Oh, that's a lawyer? Oh, no. Kimberly? No, that's a content creator, right? No, y'all, there's a content creator. I'm speaking to her. Oh, you said she's a lawyer. I don't think so. Not this lady. Not the lady I'm talking about. Oh, she is? Oh, well, I'm referring to her as a content creator. Y'all got to get out of people's personal lives. If she presents as a content creator, I'm referring to her as a content creator. I'm not saying nothing about no lawyer because I don't know nothing about that. That's how y'all get lawsuits. Y'all can say it. I'm not. Okay. Okay, well, shit, I guess everybody. Okay, so y'all are saying she's a lawyer. I'm just going to go with a content creator. That's all I know. I don't like exposing people's stuff without permission. So anywho, look, then she got it. She don't need my help. Subpoena everything. And I think I just wanted to come and kind of share some of these things with you. I think it's gross, but I'm not shocked for a number of reasons. I'm not. It's what to be expected if you really have been following this case from start to finish. I don't think it's going to go away. Mississippi, I think you're going to be in for the fight of your life. And I think the more you try to jack these people around and this family around regarding their son, more and more public attention will be drawn to it. More and more celebrities will be drawn to it. And I think it'll be you versus the world, Mississippi.
We want justice in this case. We don't want secret grand jury proceedings. We don't want secret medical examiner reports. We want all threats investigated. We want the truth behind that audio. I want to know. And I want everybody on that boat polygraphed. We want answers. We want justice.
And we want them polygraphed outside of the state of Mississippi. Just like they were able to ship Nolan's body off to an independent examiner, we want an independent polygrapher from a different part of the world to be able to come in and do or administer a polygraph test, period, point blank.
Justice in this.
What's your assessment on this?
Honestly, I feel like that is a way, which we've seen this before, right? Pattern recognition. We've seen this where things have happened, especially when we talk about the Black community. And, after the death, it's a smear campaign. It's, what can we find out about this person? What can we say? And, that's something, my family and I, especially my husband and I, we definitely do not appreciate. But we can't fight everyone that wants to have an opinion. But also, too, it's part of society that has been allowed to occur, which is it's gut-wrenching at best. Because if you were in our situation, how would you feel if there were millions of people who are saying, oh, hey, well, he was at an island. He was heavily drunk. And again, even with the drinking, there are so many conflicting stories, only because I have spoken with adults who knew Nolan very well, coaches that were out there. One in particular, I think he told me he saw Nolan somewhere between like 2:45 and 3:30. He was like, Christine, yeah, we talked for a while. We talked about college. We talked about his life, his plans. And he was like, he was perfectly fine. Because I think it had bothered him, too, that there was this narrative of, oh, he was sloppy drunk. Like and it started at the very beginning. It was, oh, he was sloppy drunk. And I'm like, but was he, though? Or is this a narrative that you guys want to use to kind of have us just accept that it was a drowning?
What's your assessment on this?
Honestly, I feel like,
yeah, they're trying to. I think it's horrible what these so-called friends are trying to do to Nolan in his death. Make him a drunk, sloppy, drunk, young Black boy who was defiant, who refused to get on the boat, and who lost his life. And they're just all good white kids. None of them were drinking. It was just him, sloppy drunk. I want to go back to pieces really quick. Pieces of Warren's interview when he sat down with Officer Tay-Tay. Let's take a look at some of this. I'm going to just start rear at 7:15.
1,000 people out there. There were boats lined up off the island. I mean, there was 3 rows of boats all the way until my vision ended, until I could see of people there was 1 row of boats, and then there was another row of boats, and then there was a 3rd row of boats. Yeah. I mean, there was people lined up all up and down the island to where, who knows? And that wasn't just, we were parked on the north side, on the west tip. It wasn't just there. There's tons of people packed out on the south side and on the east end and in the middle of the island. But just where we were, there was easily 1,000 people. It wasn't just us.
Let's go back a little bit. I want to go back to you guys at the dock, getting on the boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats. Right. What boat were you on, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on YF-22 Triton.
Okay. You notice when he said that? At first, I believed him. You know, I mean, why would he lie? I'm just taking people at face value. I don't have a dog in this fight. But now that more videos are coming out, and damn it, Wyatt, and people believe that Nolan was actually or could have been on Wyatt's boat, and that the 22 Triton is actually an alibi because that's not the boat that sank. All of this, there's a lot of conspiracy theories. If you notice, he starts to cross his legs here.
Boat. You're saying there's multiple people, probably 20 or 30 people getting on 3 boats.
Right.
What boat were you on, and what boat was Nolan on?
Nolan was on Wyatt's 22 Triton. On the way out, I went with my.
See, he was fine, and that's why they should take a polygraph. I'm sure his body posture was fine while he was telling the truth. But when he said Nolan was on the 22 Triton, if you notice, he had to move and shift his body to sit into that. And he wasn't doing that at first. Let me do it one more time. I'll start even further. He was fine. Here we go.
The rest of the group, which was probably ranged from maybe 10 to 15 or 16 people on my buddy's tide line, which is 24 tide line.
No shifting needed of the body posture. Now we're reading the body language. He's telling the truth. He's fine. This is true so far.
And so you guys get on, and I know a little bit more than the audience do because we went out there a little earlier because I wanted to see exactly what the drive was like, what the dock was like, how far it is out there.
Of course.
But I want you to tell, the audience, like, what was this trip like? How was the waters? Did you guys do anything in between the time you rode and the time you get to the island? Was there music? Is it like a big party? Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously music's blasting. It's 4th of July, man. I mean,
he's telling the truth. But I wonder if he's telling the truth about what boat Nolan was on when he said the Triton, only because of his body language. I hone in on the psychological and the behavioral traits of the Black experience.
Everybody's really excited. And I mean, we had a lot of people loaded down. So obviously our biggest, we're just trying to make sure everybody, gets out there safe. And so, I mean, on the way out there, it was pretty calm. I think it was blowing like 3 or 4 knots. I mean, the waters were clear. It was a great day to be on the water. Sunshine, not cloudy at all. And I mean, it was a great day to be out there on 4th of July. And so, I mean, we followed each other out and I mean, it was calm. It was calm. On the way back, it was a little more rough, but it was not anything all my buddies' boats couldn't handle, or like, it wasn't like we were getting really beat up or anything. I mean, it was pretty calm.
And so you guys get out there. I'm assuming that you line the boats up because I'm envisioning the picture of getting out there and there's hundreds of boats. Mm-hmm. There's thousands of people. Yeah. So it wasn't just you guys on a deserted island.
Of course not.
A few people. This is thousands of people out there.
Right.
And there's a lot of people doing what? What does it look like?
He was not shifty at all until he gave specifics about what boat Nolan was on. When he said no, I thought he was going to say Nolan was on the 18-footer. Because when he described the 3 boats at the initial onset of this interview, he said there was 3 boats. A 22-foot Triton, 18 Triton, and there was another one that wasn't as big. And I thought, that was generous. They let Nolan go on one of the bigger boats. I thought they put Nolan on the 18. And I was shocked that he was on the 22. I should have went with my first thought.
When you first pull up?
I pull up, and we pulled up at 10:30. I mean, it wasn't.
That's a lie. The maritime data say you pulled up at 11:14. So we have a big discrepancy of time now. We have 45 minutes between what you're saying and what the marine data says. You say we pulled up at 10:30. The data say you pulled up at 11. I know. Well, let's continue.
I mean, early afternoon. I mean, it wasn't, but 10:30 is, still pretty early in the day. And when we got there,
now, why would they say 10:30 as opposed to really 11 something? Right? And I had to think about that. Okay. The data say you didn't get there until after 11 a.m., but you're saying no. Who do I go with? Do I go with you or do I go with the marine data? And then I said, well, I'm gonna go with the Marine data. They don't have a dog in this fight, but that's a whole gap. Like you weren't 5 minutes off, you weren't 7 minutes off, you're 45 minutes off grid. Like you're not even in the realm of what the Marine data is saying. So why would you want us to believe that you got to Horn Island at 10:30? Because it really doesn't matter to us. I said, unless it matters. So I believe, Ashley Cole, that you told him to say 10:30. The question is why? Why do they want us to believe they got to the island at 10:30? And I said, it has something to do with the time they left. They would want us to believe that they left at 3 or 4. If you get there at 10, we're here for 6 hours. But if you get there after 11, it doesn't make sense for kids to leave right when shit is about to be on and popping and the parties are just starting. There's a reason they want us to believe they were there at 10:30, but they weren't. They were there at 11:15. Does anybody know what time the CETO call came in? Did they give us that depth of detail? Because I haven't been able to find it.
There was already 3 rows of boats lined up all the way, like I said, until I could see. And
you're talking, when you say all you can see, you're speaking about miles of boat. When we went out there earlier.
Let me tell you what I think. I think, am I out of my fucking mind? You think it changes based on a 40? I think he's a fucking liar. How about that? How in the hell do you get off 45 minutes? That's why I said you're not even in within a 5 to 7 time. We're talking give or take 5 to 7 minutes, give or take 15 minutes, give or take 17 minutes, give or take 20, give or take 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Let's go 30. Let's go 35. Can we go 40? Can I get 41, 42, 43, 44, 45? I think he's a liar. Now what? Well, I'm going to show you a buffoon because you chimping out, Mayo, monkey. You chimping out. Let's go.
Earlier today, when we went out there, the island is massive.
Correct.
I mean, it's just several miles long.
Roughly 10 to 12 miles. I mean, it's.
So you think that the boats were stretching from one end to the next, or just a small area of about a mile or less than a mile of boats?
Well, I mean, I think there was boats all the way around the entire island, but I think some spots were more popular than others. Like the West Tip is usually very, very crowded on the 4th of July, and everybody knows that. So that's where a lot of people park because they want to be around other people. And the East End's a little more, there's not as many people, but there's still a lot of boats out there. I mean, it's not like no one, I mean, every area of Horn Island is covered 100%.
Wow. So you get out there, y'all jump out. What do? You know, when I say jump out, you obviously not just sitting on the boat. The island is there. Like, what exactly are people doing there? Like, are you spending more time in the water, on the island, in the boat? Like, how?
I don't like you leading the questions. If you're going to interview, ask him and let him take it.
How was that look out there?
I mean, everybody, as soon as you get there, I mean, there's people on boats, grabbing drinks and, food, whatever else. Like, I mean, everybody is fully prepared for the 4th of July. They bring, all the drinks and food that they need because, I mean, they've been preparing for 4th for a little while now. But when we got there, I helped my buddies tie the boats up because the tie line was right here, the Palm Beach was in the middle, and then the Triton was on the outer side. And there was about a drop off from where the bow was. I mean, if you jumped off the bow, you were probably about neck deep in water. But if you got off the stern, you were probably waist deep in water. I mean, but when we got there, we tied up, got, bow and rear anchor set. And
so these boys are very comfortable in water. They've been going here for a while, right? They know the terrain. He knows which side, if you jump off, about how deep you're going to be because they're familiar with the territory. But so was Nolan. Nolan was, if you go through Nolan's social media, and if you go through some of the posts and memory of Nolan that all of his other friends are posting, Nolan was always on the water. He was on the water a lot. He loved to fish. He was at the beach. He's a water guy. And so are these kids. Let's continue.
We tied up all the boats, made sure they were good, and everyone is down on the water. Then eventually, next thing you know, it's our group. And then, next thing you know, there's 50 other people around us. And then it just grew and grew as the day came on. And, I mean, that's just how it was. Everybody's drinking, I mean, it's 4th of July. Everyone's just trying to enjoy themselves. And, it's a big party, basically. Big party.
Yeah, so y'all.
So everybody's drinking. How come you didn't report that in your report on the maritime call when you did a report? How come you didn't say we were all drinking? How come you guys isolated Nolan as the heavy drinker?
Y'all pretty much having a good time. Just like anybody would imagine, 18-year-olds, probably 20-year-olds, college students out on the island, women, you probably had alcohol. So y'all having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where is Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age and even people older than us were, you know, over.
Clever. Bravo. I have to give him a round of applause. Ashley, this one is for you. He made sure to distance himself from Nolan from start to finish. When he started off this interview, he said, me and my buddy went to McDonald's. Me and my buddy came back from McDonald's. When I came back, the boat was already, Nolan was on this boat, blah, blah, blah. But he never really said what boat he was on, unless my memory is failing me. Officer Tay said, when you got there, what did you do? Oh, I'm the man of the hour. I'm talking to everybody. I didn't really spend any particular amount of time with one person. It was just so many people out there. I was just talking to everybody. Boom. That's disassociating. And I'm sorry, white people, when y'all don't like scandal, you try to disassociate yourself so nobody can pin you down as being with Nolan, talking to Nolan, and as you being the last person seen with Nolan. Clever. Genius. But I think it came from you, Ashley, Judge Ashley Cole. That's just my belief. I could be wrong. I don't know if it's true, but that's what I believe. No defamation. Let's play it again.
Buddies, in a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school.
Yeah. Did y'all catch that? Somebody coached you up. Don't give too many specifics. Don't say you were with Nolan at this time. Just say you were talking to everybody.
I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age and even people older than us were, you know, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, you know, every weekend. And like, I fished the islands. I don't just, you know, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And
familiar enough to know how a body would float up? Familiar enough to know 17 to 31 foot of water? I'm just saying, not pointing fit. He was very familiar if that was him on that call, because he said we're in 31 feet of water.
I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time.
Okay.
I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and, you know, Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon.
So you lied initially, right here.
I was talking to, you know, everybody my age and even people older than us were, you know, over there.
Women, you know, you probably had alcohol. So y'all having a good time.
Yeah, of course.
And so where's Nolan in this? You know, you guys out there, the friend groups out there, 3 boats full of people that came out there that seem to be the closest friend group.
Right.
Where's Nolan in this in comparison to where you and others are at?
Well, you know, I had a couple conversations with Nolan that day, and I talked to him and a couple of my other buddies. In a group, I was not focused on anyone solely, like.
Okay, initially when he asked you about Nolan, you try to disassociate yourself from Nolan. I really didn't spend too much time with him. I was kind of talking to everybody. I was moving here, there, everywhere. Okay, cool. We got it. You didn't really, You know, you weren't with Nolan long enough to really pinpoint a time or anything. But as the conversation continues,
looking and pointing anyone out, because there's so many people out there. I mean, I was talking to my friends that I haven't seen in a while from high school. I was talking from people I knew from college. I was talking to, you know, everybody my age, and even people older than us were, you know, over there. Like, I mean, it was just a regular thing. You know, we're all used to this. We've been out to the islands before. My buddies don't just go out to the island on 4th of July, but they go out, you know, every weekend. Like, I fish the islands. I don't just, you know, fish around Horn Island. I fish around Ship Island too. So I'm very familiar with the islands. And I feel like it was just a big, I talked to Nolan, and, you know, Nolan was drinking. Everybody was drinking.
okay, now we're getting details. You were with him for an extended period of time, even though you would like us to believe that you're not, because now you're getting into details. When you were talking about, oh, I was just talking to all my buddies, you didn't give detail because you were moving around. That's what, if I am to believe you, you didn't really stay with one particular group of people. Your words were, I can't really pinpoint anybody, because I was talking to everybody. I was talking to kids my age, adults, people that my college friends, high school. Okay, cool. So that's fine. I don't really expect much. But now we're getting into detail. Nolan was drinking. How you know that? Unless you saw him throw back one after the other, which would mean that you spent a significant amount of time with Nolan.
Drinking, most of everybody. And I mean, Nolan seemed completely fine every time I talked to him. We had just regular conversations, and yeah.
Every time I talked to him, not that one time I talked to him, every time. Then y'all were together.
Nolan was making me laugh. I had a couple conversations with Nolan and Javon.
Okay. Y'all were hanging out, sweetheart. To the point you're telling jokes and laughing. You weren't here or there or everywhere. That's an alibi. You were with Nolan. Nolan didn't leave your side too much. You were in the vicinity of Nolan. Now, you would like us to believe you weren't, but I don't believe that.
Nolan, my buddy James, Nolan, and I mean, I can tell you, I mean, I talked to Nolan a couple times, but it wasn't like I was strictly sitting there talking to Nolan the whole day. I mean, there was hundreds of people I knew out there. So,
yeah.
I don't believe you now. I think people came to y'all. I'm going to believe Javon. Javon said he went to you. Javon said he came to y'all. You weren't moving around because you're the big fish on campus. People were coming to y'all. Y'all are the motherfuckers that got the smoke and got the clout. Y'all are the ones with the 3 boats, the 18, 19-year-olds that are drinking underage. They were coming to y'all. Quit lying. Nolan wasn't going to walk off. You had the goods. You're not going to walk off from your boats. That's where all the stuff is. The drinks, the this, the girls. And oh, you want me to believe you left your boats? All the girls are looking. Katie, everybody's on your boats. You are not being forthcoming, in my opinion.
Yeah. And Nolan said something interesting. You told me about this. Something he said to you, I would say would be indicative of y'all's friendship.
Right.
And then he also mentioned something to you about that particular day and what it meant to him.
Right.
And could you share that?
Right. Yeah. So Nolan and my buddy Javon are talking, and, you know, I grew up with Nolan, and Nolan's, you know, just like I said, like just so joyful, like always happy. Like every picture I have with Nolan or picture I have.
I don't care about none of that. I don't care about no pictures you have with Nolan because of the way you handled yourself after he died. I don't care about none of that. You had amnesia. You couldn't remember anything. Y'all didn't give the mom the phone. You didn't tell the lady that her son stayed behind, allegedly. Y'all didn't do none of that. I believe you're not being I think you're lying. I question everything you say. You coming with the goods. Y'all got 3 boats coming down this month. You got to know how that feels to a teenage boy that's 18, 19. Look, Ma, no hands. We got the boats. I'm on my grandpa's boat, my homeboy's boat. It's 3 of us. We 20, 30 deep in this month. And you want me to believe that you finna walk away from your party? You crazy. You crazy. That's like the VIP section. You ain't got to go nowhere because the girls are coming to you. You got the liquor. You got the girls. We hear the girls in the background. Quit playing with me, Warren. Quit playing. That's it. That's all. They have managed to flip this script and turn this thing upside down, inside out. Pictures with them on the boat. This is a parked boat on my thumbnail. This is a parked boat. Nolan didn't leave that boat, and neither did you. And y'all have drinks in y'all's hands, not Nolan. Y'all have drinks in y'all's hands in these photos, not Nolan. A heavy drinker? Oh, yeah. Hold on. Let me get my beer. I don't believe not a word. And I believe you're strategically blocking this woman from getting justice for her son. When you start to raise money in a public campaign to fight off, block, and or defend a wrongful death lawsuit, that's because something wrong happened. Damn it, Bart.